Hello, this video is what I think about this video is how we should look at history, part 2. I totally missed, I didn't get to the good part, but I feel better now, so I think I'll be able to. It's really quick. How we should view history. Reincarnationally. If you view history, if you believe in reincarnation, you're going to understand history a million times more than if you don't. If you don't, you're going to get convoluted and start having to imagine like cellular memory and stuff like this. But it's actually reincarnational memory. We should view history as though stuff in the past, like even, stuff that happened 1,000, 2,000, even longer than that, years ago. It was just another episode in your life today. You think about your stuff that happened when you were 10 years old, stuff you happened like 20 years ago. And it's a long time ago. But you can remember it, and if you have a good memory, you can remember it like it was yesterday type of a thing. And you can remember any memory like it was yesterday. If you keep a dream journal, I kept a dream journal in the summer of '95 hiking across the Colorado Trail. And I set this alarm clock next to my head. I put my alarm clock on my dreadlock, and I slept on it so that for 4 o'clock it'd go off. 4 o'clock was because I was exercising, so I was sleeping really well. So I'm in the middle of a dream at 4 o'clock, and the alarm goes off. So I got up and I wrote down the dream. And the dream, since I woke up, I don't remember dreams so well anymore, but I did then. And I wrote the dream, and I'd write like 5 pages. Because I could remember the dream like it was like I was still having it. And I opened up a part of my brain that saved all of the dreams. And so then I started remembering dreams that I had when I was 5 years old. That I had even forgotten that I had. Like I had just dreamt that dream. So I started writing the dream journal about those dreams. And some of those were like 5 pages long. It's all on my website. But so memories never get lost. They just get put away someplace. And the same thing with past life memories. I remember past life memories even now, but I did a lot more when I was younger, but even now. But they get triggered by movies. And for example, I saw a movie called Black Death 2 nights ago. And watching those the people in those clothing, those raggedy clothing, and walking through the cobblestone streets and those horse-drawn carriages kind of brought me back to that world. And when you live in those worlds, and I think we understand history, and actors can get in character in those characters, and historians can actually channel why people would do stuff because they actually have a real connection to it, and they're opening up that part of their brain and their soul. I guess maybe the soul comes in through your pineal gland and stores past life memory in parts of your brain. So you just open up that part of the brain. Maybe that's the part of the 85% of the brain that we don't use. It's actually past life brain, and that we can't access because we don't believe in reincarnation. So so if you study history, I think, and you really concentrate on stuff, and you piece all of the steps of history, all the different centuries together in sequence, and understand that everything happened, you remember more and more and more and more until it becomes this one story. Just a really big story, but it's one story that you're really familiar with. And then I think something magical is going to happen to anybody who does that, and I'm certainly going to do that, and I predict that all of a sudden I'm going to remember my past lives, and I'm going to remember those points in history. It's like it's a feeling that you get when you're in a certain area in history, because each century has its own soul, has its own vibration, has its own energy to it, because they all have their own technology levels and different things that are going on. And when you watch one of these movies and you get into it, you can feel like that's the world, and how the people felt is like that's the world for them. That's how it is. It's familiar to them. It's the most modern day, and it's just they're just like us. They're us. Only they're just living in a different situation. As an example, I was watching that movie, The Black Death, and I looked at the balcony. There was stairs that went up, and then the handrails, and the handrails were made out of crossed wooden like that, and it was really well made, and it was just like a modern house, and also in Pompeii I saw a balcony with that kind of wood, and it was perfectly preserved, like it was built yesterday, and varnished. It was perfect. A whole balcony, second-story room, and it was 2,000 years old. It was preserved from the volcanic ash. And so back then they had the technology, and they had pretty much a lot of what we have today. And so that when you get back in there and you feel like you're actually there, I think it's going to open up floodgates in our minds, and we're going to actually remember our personal past lives, and we're going to remember past lives as though they're dreams. Like how the dreams opened up like a floodgate in my mind because I was writing dream journals. And then I could write dreams that I had 5 pages worth, even though I was 5 years old and I had them, and I forgot that I even had them. I think the same thing's going to happen with past lives. All of a sudden, if you become acquainted enough with history, in the mindset of believing that you were actually there, you're gonna see a bunch of pictures of people dressed a certain way and streets and events, and you're gonna go, oh, I know why that event happened. Oh my God, I remember the whole story. And you're gonna remember something amazing, like oh yeah, I was this man, and then I went to this war, and look, I can read about it here. Oh yeah, and then I met this woman, and we had these 2 children, and his name was this and her name was that. And you're going to basically remember your past life like it was yesterday. I think that's possible. I think that's going to happen. And so then we're going to look at history like basically 1,000 years ago was just yesterday. And then it'll just continue on back. After that, we're going to remember Atlantis and Lemuria and everything, and eventually all of our past lives before we even die. I think when you die, one of the purposes of dying is to remember all of your past lives. I think when you die, you become omniscient pretty much about stuff happening in this world and in the history of this world. You get to see the entire history of humankind as though it's this coherent story, and you know why everything happened. You know which life you had along the whole way. And then like you get motivated to go back, and you know exactly what you want to do when you go back, because you know about the stuff you want to do that you didn't get to do before, or you know which way you want to go, the next step to take in your life and for the world. So I think studying history thoroughly, and I think my history timeline is going to be the best tool for that, because it brings everything together in one place that you can compare. Is a tool that actually will make it possible for us to become omniscient about our past and our past lives and everything, just like you are when you die. So you basically don't have to die to know everything that happened in the past, all the way to the beginning of the earth. That's what I wanted to say.